thinking you're not enough, thinking you don't have enough is the common condition. Like this is our cause of suffering. It's dressed up as I'm not this, I'm not that, she's ahead, he's ahead, blah, blah, blah. But really it comes down to one of those two buckets. And so isn't that a wonderful thing? Like that we're kind of united in this. And so we can almost like have more compassion and know that our feelings aren't weird.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome back. The Art2Life podcast. Super excited today. I'm talking to a friend and amazing life coach, writer, podcaster, inspirer, Susie Moore. Susie has been featured on the Today Show, Oprah, Business Insider, CNN, Forbes. She's got a couple amazing books out. Her most recent one is What If It Does Work Out? ? And also her earlier one, which I absolutely loved, which is Stop Checking Your Likes. But she's really, you guys, I feel like her wizardry and expertise lies in helping people gain confidence. And this is where we're going to go today. And this is a huge challenge for artists and me and everyone who makes art. And I can't wait to gain some insights about this. Welcome to Art2Life, a podcast for the creatively curious. My name is Nicholas Wilton, and each week I'll help you rediscover not just the art of your life, but the art in your life. Join me as we explore that perfect blue at twilight, the wild frontiers of art making, and the extraordinary joy of finding your way as you go. Susie, welcome coming and being here and making time today. I so appreciate it.
Nick, you know I love you. Anything for you. I love this topic. I love you. I'm excited to chat with you about this today because I know this thing about confidence. This is the truth. It's a decision. And when we realize that it's a decision that we make, no one can bestow it upon us, our life can utterly change. And in my experience as a life coach, confidence underpins so many good things. It's almost like there's no situation in life where it's not helpful. So what better way to spend our time together today speaking about this thing that is just so important and significant?
Yes. And I think that the sneaky part of confidence is that we think it's coming, we think it's going to come when our work gets better, when we have that solo show, when somebody buys our art or whatever the thing is. And it actually is the thing that makes all those other things possible, but we tend to postpone and wait. That's where you really come in and fire things up for us.
Yes. Well, I think, sometimes we have this misconception that confidence comes when we're good at things, right? Or it's a reward, or it's something that we earn somehow. And that's not to dismiss the fact that there is something called the confidence competence loop, meaning the more confident you feel, the more action you take naturally, the more competent you become by the way of experience, and that competence fuels more confidence. That's true. However, you don't need to be in any certain position to start to feel confident. The way that I define confidence simply, Nick, is a willingness to be uncomfortable. Like, are you willing to be uncomfortable? And most people will run and hide. They'd rather almost lose a limb and then be willing to be uncomfortable in a situation with new people where they could be rejected, shut down, humiliated, laughed at. But if you're willing to withstand some temporary negative emotion, and all emotions are temporary, the average emotion lasts only 90 seconds. If you're willing to withstand some negative emotion, asking someone for something, letting them say no, posing a question that just feels scary and having no one respond to you. If you're willing to do that, the world belongs to you. And that's kind of why I love to also just see life through this lighthearted lens, because I think everything's available to me if I'm willing to be uncomfortable.
Yes. So uncomfortable, I think of it like maybe reaching out to somebody who is ahead of you or that you admire. And I think that's where, for me, confidence, it's been a challenge where I used to do everything myself. I think I was sort of using that, I can do everything. There's a certain confidence and a bravado with that. But I think part of it also was I didn't feel comfortable asking for help, because that meant then that was for sure solidifying the fact that I don't actually know what I'm doing, and I've gotten better at that, like you cannot do this art thing, and you certainly can't, help other people if you're not willing to be helped yourself.
I would ask anyone, because this does come up a lot, Nick, asking for help can feel like a weakness. It can feel like we don't have everything figured out. It can feel like we're a burden. It's so interesting how we have this double standard, right? Because if someone asks you for help, it doesn't mean you say yes or no. It doesn't even matter what the outcome is. But if the last time someone asked you for help, did you think, gosh, they're weak. They haven't got their life figured out. Like, oh, there's something wrong with that person. Or did you go, almost in a way, oh, that's kind of really nice that they asked me. Like, oh, this can almost like bring us closer.
Yes. I don't know. I think women have a better approach to this. I mean, I just texted my friend, and he's like a soul brother to me. And he'd been on this trip, and I really wanted to talk to him about some challenges I was having, because he's one of those people for me that I can talk to about that. And I sent him a text, and I was like, man, how was your trip? And, I can't wait to hear all about it. It's so cool. Let's get together and catch up. And I remember finishing the text saying, I wasn't really, actually what it would have been better to say is like, God, hey, man, I miss you. I would really love to talk to you about some challenges I'm having right now. And are you available? And I just saw like, wow, I didn't do that. And it's just because it's a confidence thing, or just not wanting to be like everybody else on the planet, and that feels sometimes that you need help.
So let me ask you this, Nick. If I texted you that, if I was like, hey, Nick, I know, it's been a while. So I still have all these cool adventures online. I'm having a couple of issues. I'd just love you for 10 minutes on the phone. Would you be up for that?
Well, this is maybe my superpower. I love helping other people all day long.
Yeah, but guess what, Nick? This is true for a lot of humanity. We love to help others. We're wired to help others. We are meant to be connected and to support one another. That's what letting it be easy is. Like, that's why we all have different skills and talents. We're here to make life a little easier for each other. We need each other. And sometimes we think that we're the exception. We're like, oh, but I love to help. Like, I love to show up and be there for others. But oh, no, you don't have to help me. Like, I'm good here. And that's true for a lot of people. I would say that's the majority of the people. And if I asked you, Nick, if I said, look, can I have 10 minutes? I've got a couple challenges. I think you could help me. What would you think? You don't even have to say yes. But what would your opinion be of me? Would you be like, wow, Susie's like lost her touch, or she's so like, she must be like really struggling. Like there's something wrong with her. Or would you go,
right. No, I'm not quite the opposite. Like I would want to help, I would want to help. Yeah. It's so obvious when you flip it. Absolutely.
Flipping it really helps. It's almost like a form of disassociation, which is very healthy to do sometimes, because we see our lives, of course, through our own eyes. So it is slightly distorted, the lens with which we interpret what's going on in the world, because it's, it's shaped by so much emotion, a narrative, our history. But if you were to I love to just do these disassociation exercises. If there's something that you want to do that feels like crazy or too much or inappropriate or scary, almost like picture someone else, maybe around your age, maybe around your level of experience in another country, perhaps, trying to do that thing. Would you go, oh, that person's so irresponsible and stupid? Or would you go, wow, that person's really going for it. And while they're at it, they should also do this, this, and this.
Yes.
Like, why are we the exceptions? Why is there always this double standard for ourselves? That's certainly a game that I don't play anymore.
Yeah. You work with a lot of people, I know, and literally thousands of people you're in contact with. And what is the number one is it confidence? Is that is it one form or another that it shows up? And how does it show up for most people?
Yeah, it's an interesting question when it comes to like how confidence shows up in the world. I would say, and this is interesting, this is almost like a shock to me it's something that I learned over the years. It's that confidence and quality, confidence and excellence, confidence and even competence to some degree are just completely unrelated. Right? I often tell people who are holding back, there are people out there doing more with less than you have. Like there are people who are just simply willing to believe, willing to be uncomfortable, willing to just go for it, right? I mean, it's almost like those few seconds of courage that can really bring you forward in life. I mean, it's actually not much more complicated than that, but we have a story that we need to have all of these things in place, all these layers, almost all these qualifications in some cases, years of experience, connections. Well, I tell you, Nick, I would take someone with a desire and a willingness to be uncomfortable who say mega average. There are no average humans, but for the context of this conversation,
Yes.
I would take someone mega, say average, with a willingness to be uncomfortable and a desire to do something over the most talented, brilliant, perfect, incomparable genius who wasn't willing to be uncomfortable with only a mediocre or a medium desire. I mean, when there's desire and there's a willingness to try something, to not feel comfortable all the time, then we can really go places.
Yes.
And the best news there is that that's a decision. No one born willing or unwilling. We get to decide every day. And I can tell you that in my own experience, when I'm unwilling and I just do it, sometimes life surprises you. But we have to meet life there. We can't just expect everything to come to us, or to wake up one day, or to think that we're going to wake up one day thinking, this is this is my moment. This is the time. It simply doesn't work that way. It has to begin with us. We have to stir ourselves up.
It's so interesting because for the people I'm in contact with and in my life, we're making something, we're making a piece of art, and there is risk involved in it. And it's one of the principles, essential pieces of art making that you need, this willingness to risk. It really doesn't get going until there's some vulnerability in the game. And it's so fascinating because I'm very visual. And so when you're talking about this and confidence and being uncomfortable, I think of when I've been making art and which paintings or, when I've taken chances. And it's always the pieces end up, often they're the ones that are really the breakthroughs. And it's so fascinating, right? That it's the same thing in life, right? It's art and life that, you have to sit in a bit of the mystery, in the unknown, in order for that new thing to come in. Do you know? I mean, I don't know if you think about it that way. I mean, when you're an artist, you're on this creative path and you don't know entirely where you're going, but you're calling in the next things, kind of, and you do certain activities and you pay attention and you feel alive. And there's certain modes of being that create more response from the outside world, so I can imagine for you, it's like you're surprised where you're saying, I'm surprised you'd be surprised at what can happen. It's like the universe is conspiring to send some pretty amazing things your way,
Yes, but it doesn't come without our participation, right? So sometimes we think, oh, well, my time is coming, or something out there is going to create momentum for me. And that can be true sometimes, right? Sometimes that does happen. But don't you always notice that there's always a correlation to our own courage and our own bias towards action somehow? So yeah, sometimes that can be a great opportunity that just comes out of the blue, or you get an email, or you get a DM or a request or a collaboration, something really, really cool. But it's because you've done something. There is something that's taken place first. And so if we're willing to maybe, frankly, take it all a little bit less seriously. This is something that I think we should be taught early on. The brain's number one job, Nick, is to keep us alive, right? That is the brain's job. And this is why we're so wired for comfort. We're wired to, keep things as certain as possible. So those of us who are really willing to almost coach ourselves, I think being your own life coach is so important. What could be more important? To look at the thoughts that come, the beliefs that come, to question those that lead to unsatisfying results. I always say there's an area of your life that isn't satisfying. Say it's money, sales, business. What are you believing about that area right now? And what could be truer? And often it's not even the problem that's the problem. It's the story around the current situation that requires our interrogation, frankly.
Yes.
And that's where all of our power is. So you have a disappointing month, or everyone's saying no to you and no one wants your stuff. What does that mean? Does it mean that you're a failure? Does it mean that you're a nothing? Does it mean that you should give up? I don't know. Maybe what else could it mean? There are many, many ways of interpreting this.
Yes.
Whatever makes you feel bad, whatever makes you feel heavy, miserable, checked out, I always find that those thoughts aren't true. And we're just almost one thought or belief upgrade away from a better emotion. And then from an elevated emotion with a good intention, with a clear intention, we can then take really good action. And we're not stuck. We're constantly in this place of momentum.
Yeah, I love that. I love that we're in control of the story. We're art directing the movie, and it can be a sad, poor me movie, or it can be, a comeback movie,
Yes. Yes. I mean, this is why I don't like even traditional forms of psychology a lot of the time, because there's like the cause and effect model, right? It's like this happened and so then this. But we are so powerful, Nick, right? When you look at even like, say, success stories in your world, are they the most conventional stories? Like, are they, this person was given everything, they had immense talent and they lived happily ever after? Like, that's not the artist's experience.
It is not that. Yeah.
No, right? I mean, you've got far more knowledge than me in the art, especially in the artistic world. But I would say, well, don't we all? Isn't like, show me a straight river, like in nature. Like, where is there ever not a meandering path or something that is kind of unexpected? Like, why would we expect our lives to just be this upward, always constant, always straightforward and easy line? Like, that's not how it works. And when we can dance with it a bit, be a bit more lighthearted about it, maintain positive expectation, look to our past for proof. Like, we all have a history with the universe, right? Good things have happened to us, all of us. Like, no matter what, right? We've had wins. We've had good things that have come our way. We've had positive outcomes. Isn't that already proof in your life about what's possible? So why would that stop? Like, why would today be an exception? Why would, your experience right now mean something about your entire future? It's basically what we're saying in our mind in the moment.
Yes. It's about presence, right? It's just optimizing that way of being. I mean, it sounds like what you're describing, where if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable, but I mean, it's small steps, right? Like, if you haven't spoken in front of people before, that's terrifying. So maybe a small step would be, ask a question from the back row at a book reading. I mean, right? Like we're just growing this project. We just need to do, this is what I teach, that just to take little small steps towards, because I get overwhelmed, but I know if I just do something towards what I want and take those little steps. Is that how you, or do you kind of encourage people, just look, come on, you're going to be dead in 100 years. My dad used to say, in 100 people, in 100 years, there's all new people, which is kind of great. It's like, it actually doesn't matter what think of the worst thing, you crash your car and you insult your boss. And no one even cares about any of this stuff. Next week, they won't even care. But in 100 years, all new people.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I encourage both. I love big, bold leaps. And as a life coach, I love to give like a 24-hour challenge. So if someone's scared to do something, I'll say by this time tomorrow, I want it to be done. And I don't even care what the outcome is. So just say someone's scared to approach someone and ask for something, right? I'll go, well, you got 24 hours. And it doesn't matter. Whatever the response is, it's a huge high five. It's like, you did it. Like, that's the only thing that counts. I don't care what the person said. The truth is, right, the more you do it, like, what do you think is going to happen? Right? Success is volume. I speak so much about this. Like, success is volume. It's like, it wasn't, I did this one thing once and I tried and that was it. It's like, look at someone like Dolly Parton. People don't even realize how many albums she has. I heard she has over 100 albums. Right. But we know 9 to 5, we know Jolene, we know a few other songs. Think of all the songs we don't know.
Yeah.
Right, because they weren't hits, right? So Deepak Chopra has over 70 books. Probably 5 to 6 are his best known books, right? You have to go through the stuff. You have to do the things. It's not like every single thing's a home run.
No,
right?
of course.
We're so unwilling, though. It's like, I wrote my first blog post. Why aren't I famous yet? Like, or I pitched the media once and I didn't hear anything, so I guess it's not for me. Or I tried the stock market once with one stock and, I'm not a billionaire, so I guess I did a stomach crunch. I'm not thin yet. Like, or I don't have my ad. It's like, why do we think that everything is just out of the gate either? Like, I think, dancing with life and taking bold steps, yes, because they do work. But also sometimes, Nick, in coaching, we refer to something called a 1-degree turn, right? It's based on like the old story that, if a cruise ship or if an airplane just goes 1 degree off course, it ends up in a very different direction, right? After
at the end, when it lands in Costa Rica, it's not Costa Rica, it's Spain,
Exactly. Yes. So what are your 1-degree turns? Like you said, asking a question from the back. Maybe you're in a book club and you offer to read a passage. Like, these small things add up over time, and they can feel just a little bit of like a fear in the body, like a little zing in the body. But hey, You survived it. Like, what are some common fears? Like most in your world, what would people most like to do if they were really unafraid?
I think the confidence piece, I think putting their personal expression, right? Because we create a piece of art and it, especially in the beginning, it is us, and then we're going to show it to the world. And I think that's a big step for people. And the next sort of level is you kind of get this thing going and then you're going to propose your work to a gallery, or you're going to stand up and talk about your work, or put it out there and stand next to it and be really present and be so excited and passionate about it and that you love your work. I mean, the challenging thing with art making is if you're doing it properly, you will feel vulnerable a little bit, right? It's not like that's what art making is. So nobody comes out of a day of making art thinking they're the greatest. At least I don't think so. I certainly don't. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, the process of creating, because it grounds you. It's tremendous humility in it. I mean, you are just so honest with yourself. And yes, there's brilliance in there too. So for selling, for example, you have to leave the vulnerability of the making of the thing and be in your fire and be excited about, like, you have made something and this doesn't exist anywhere on the planet. It never will. And you're the only one who can make these and you should buy 10 of them. That's the challenge, I think, for a lot of creatives to move their career forward.
Yeah, a lot of things come to mind as you're speaking, Nick. The way that I feel, I mean, I create different. So my work as a creative is different. I'm not an artist in the same way that you are. But I've always thought that sales, so selling my books or selling any of my work, it's an extension of the creative process. It's not separate. Mm-hmm. It's not like there's my writing and then there's a sale, there's marketing. It's one thing. Like, it's all one, like, living, breathing experience, like one process. And, I once heard, and I've always remembered this, like, that selling is just enthusiasm transferred. Mm-hmm. And so when you think about, like, what it is that you've created, if you like it, remember too that our gifts are all on loan in this lifetime. Right? Our gifts don't even belong to us. Like, we didn't instill our desires and our gifts and our talents. We came with those all built in. And we don't live in a universe that's here to test us, that's hostile to break our dreams, right? That's not the reality. But what if we just looked at selling as just, like the natural next step? It's like, I created this thing. Now people need to know about it. It's not like a huge leap forward. It's not a cliff that you have to, like, risk your life by, oh my gosh, now's the scary part. Isn't it just all one process from, like, because we don't create in order just to consume our own stuff, right? It's natural that we give, like, as human beings.
Yes, we want to share this for sure. Yes.
So if we're creating privately in our studio and then no one sees it, the process just isn't finished.
Well, it depends. Now, I mean, you do have people that their reason to be making art is for themselves. And there are a lot of people. So there is that, but it tends to be, the process of creativity tends to be, or at least, in the sort of the artistic kind of like making something, you go from a more kind of contracted place and you want to be moving and expanding and more an expansion all the way through, kind of opening yourself up, becoming more skilled in what you're doing, becoming more aware, more sensitive, and then more open and more confident and more, willing to take risks and all of that. And that allows more people to come in, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's like Oprah has expanded extraordinarily from when she started. I'm not saying we have to be Oprah, but that kind of small to like growing. And the work tends to follow this, right? From a small thing, it tends to get bigger, it tends to get more open, or at least that's the sort of usual journey. So yes, it is all part of that expansion. I love how you frame it as just one thing entirely.
Yeah. And this is kind of like where our ego gets involved, right? It's like, well, I can do something privately all day long. And you see people do this all the time, curating perfect Instagram feeds, working on their website, tinkering on the back end forever, forever and ever. But then when it comes to putting yourself in a place to be rejected, putting yourself in a place to receive some criticism, oh, no. Like, but we don't say, oh, I'm afraid of that. We'll go, I'm too busy. I don't know. And it's like, we know, come on. And then also, Nick, let's look at the history of artists, okay? Isn't it true that some of the most incredible artists of all time, the wood was sold from the frames and the paintings were burned? Like the wood was taken from the frame and the art was just like thrown in the fire. Like, why aren't we seeking out stories of things that can empower us and go, wow, this person was overlooked too. This person was distraught too. This person didn't believe in themselves either. Like, because as you know, Nick, I speak so openly about not having formal qualifications.
Yes, which I love.
And in America, right, sometimes that can be a little tricky, especially because, I have this tech background. I came to New York. I had to get a job. I mean, all these things really weren't going my way. Like the wind wasn't blowing in my favor, if you know what I mean. Like even coming to New York looking for a tech job, right? But do you think that I was reading about statistics about like how someone like me wouldn't be able to like figure it out, how I was just like doomed like to like be a plastic bag floating through the wind any way the wind blows? I was looking at stories of like the most successful people in history who were like high school dropouts, college dropouts, who just created on their own, who just human ingenuity, stories around people who just created, who knew that the power was in them. Like we need to seek out stories, truths, facts, evidence. Like where's the proof? Like I was like, there's proof everywhere that there are no limits for what I can achieve.
Yeah,
like there's proof everywhere. So why would I go in another direction? Our focus is so important. And if I were an artist who was scared, I'd look at stories of other artists who were scared, who did it anyway, who maybe felt overlooked, who maybe felt like lost, unappreciated. And I would just think like, okay, all right. Like I'm not alone here. Like I'm part of this. Like I'm part of this community and I've got work to do. And this is absolutely appropriate. Like my confidence in me going out there and being seen and being visible, not only is it not optional, especially if you want to be successful, but it's completely appropriate and it's part of my job.
Yes, yes. And so your story, you had no qualifications to do what you're doing now. You didn't go to some amazing school or had some incredible mentor and
No, I'm so open about this because I want to be an example of what is available to a human when they focus their mind and when they care deeply about others. I always, think to myself, the only thing that matters to me when someone works with me or if I work with someone, we collaborate somehow, is that they get a good result. Like they get an outcome that they want. And if I can do that, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like that's enough.
Right.
There doesn't have to be so many extra things required. There doesn't have to be like all these boxes ticked. It's like, I'm here as a human. I'm qualified because I'm born. I didn't make myself. Like I'm here for this temporary time. And really, that's enough. Trusting my desires is safe guidance, doing what I can for others, being generous when I can. Like that's really my job. Like that's my work. And then everything else is a narrative. Like everything else is what someone else thinks, what I could think. Those things are all kind of malleable. But the fact that we're here, like, with love as the basis of, of the planet, like to give and to show up and be generous. That's it. And so what else matters really in terms of like, but you're not qualified, says who?
Can you speak a little bit about what I see in those who I'm close to and sharing with, and is just this kind of imposter syndrome? And, how did you, so what you're saying is you choose to focus on the exceptions or the stories that are possible for you instead of like, it's like someone opening a restaurant, like 99% of them fail, but it's still, you don't want to go there. And just so it's sort of like the culture, the place you put yourself in, your friends how do you curate that for yourself? Is that just, do you have advice on that? Like, you really have to start, if you're trying to do a new thing, you really have to try to start changing your environment and just reframing this story for yourself.
I think when it comes to imposter syndrome, there's so much literature on this now and even like different schools of thought on it. The way that I think about it, if I don't feel slightly like an imposter all the time, like 100% of the time, I'm probably coasting a little bit. I'm probably very much just like doing the stuff that I know will work. And the thing is, imposter syndrome isn't visible. No one knows you have it. Only you know it on the inside. No one else can see or tell. And it's not fake it till you make it. I really don't like that expression. Some people like it. I don't. I think, do it, right? Do the verb until you become the noun, right? So if I'm, say, a life coach, right? It's not because someone said that I'm a life coach or I went to school for life coaching or I did a test and, okay, you're a life coach. It's like I coach others. Like I will coach others. Let me help you through your problems. Like, what is it you want? Where's the gap? Let's get through that gap together lovingly, right? With consciousness. I will then coach and then what am I? Just kind of by default. It's like you do the things until you become it. Mm-hmm. It's not like faking anything. So, you mentioned public speaking. If someone's really scared to speak publicly and then they do it 4 or 5 times, then what are they? Like there's someone who speaks publicly. Same if you I could never run a marathon. And then you run a couple of marathons and you're a marathon runner.
Right. And everyone, all your friends start calling you that, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the story, right? The story's being created by those around you. I'm always surprised. Mm-hmm. You just do one thing,
One thing.
I used to surf a lot and I don't have time. I would love to more and I'm going to, but I'll go occasionally, and people will be like, oh my God, you're surfing. It's so incredible. They put this whole life together, and you just went out, for 2 hours and did this activity that you haven't done in 6 months. And people are already, they start, framing that's part of who you are. And, it's kind of amazing. It sort of can work in your favor, I guess, it's that idea that it's not actually who you are. It's what people think you are it's a sick way to think about it, but it really, it really can kind of like blow, when somebody sees that you're coaching, well, you're a life coach, Yeah.
And it's so interesting because our actions, like what we decide to do is completely up to us, right? It's not outside of us. Mm-hmm, and so we think like there's a moment where like in the future where we can say this or call ourselves this or maybe make something available to the world. And it's like, you can do that in the next 5 minutes, really, and then all of a sudden you're an entrepreneur. Like all of a sudden you're someone who skis. All of a sudden you're someone who knows how to cook, like who cooks, right? Doesn't mean that you have the result that you want, but what are you even just like a one degree action away from?
Right.
I think it's so interesting how we like define ourselves and we're like, I am this, I'm not that, I'm good at this, I'm not good at that. It's like, is that true? Like, when was the last time you tried that? Like maybe that was a belief that was assigned to you early. And it's been holding you back. Like it just requires a bit of consciousness. Like,
yes.
Why don't we interrogate that a little bit? If something's working in our lives, we don't need to question it, right? If we feel good, if we feel at peace. But if we feel held back, stuck, small, unhappy, sad, dissatisfied, I always just like to go, okay, in that area, what am I believing about money? Or what am I believing about friendship? Or what am I believing about in my athletic ability? Like, where is the truth? Because it's a real shame, Nick, to go through your life, like believing and being held back by a lie.
Yeah. It's interesting because that question, I know firsthand, I'll have a story about somebody or about a situation and it's challenging and but it almost takes somebody from the outside saying, hey, wait, whoa. Wait, what you just said, wait, back up. Really? Wait, no, Nick, do you see, like someone really has to like intervene, which I guess is what you do, but it is tricky. I find it tricky to fact check my own story sometimes. I'm versed in this and I've been working on it, but man, it's hard to be objective about your own stories. Don't you think?
It is, but with practice, it becomes more of a default, right? Like, so if you think about it, right, if you're stuck on something or something's making you unhappy or feeling frustrated, there is something that requires a bit of work in terms of your like narration around it. I've always come back to this and I've never found an exception. So if you feel like something's not working out and you feel like, upset about it, like the thing that's happening in your life, so like the situation, the external circumstances, that's never what's making us happy or unhappy, right? It's always our relationship to that circumstance. So even if it comes to like money in the bank, say someone has say $50,000 in the bank. Is that a lot of money? Is that not a lot of money? Dollars are just like this neutral thing, right? Money doesn't care if you're a good or bad person. Money doesn't have an opinion. There's just X amount in the bank, right? That's just like the facts. Mm-hmm. So my ability to attract more money is going to be really largely based on my relationship to my existing amount of money. And if I'm telling a really bad story about it, like this isn't enough, I'm broke, I'm not going to be able to live, then my money can feel like it's the problem. But the money itself is never the problem. The parking ticket isn't the problem. The other person's mean comment isn't the problem. Nothing outside of us is the problem. It's always our relationship to the thing. And this is where all of our power is.
Yes,
and
yes.
if we think that, just say you show up somewhere and no one buys your stuff, right? Happens to all of us. In fact, there was just this great Twitter chain that was really, really cool. I love reading it. It was about an author who went to a book reading. She was like, I'm really upset, you guys. Like 50 people RSVP'd and only 2 people came. And I'm frankly really embarrassed. Like that my author reading at this bookshop was empty. And then Cheryl Stray chimed in. Margaret Atwood chimed in saying that happened to us. Margaret Atwood said, someone once asked me in Barnes & Noble, where's the Scotch tape? And she was like, I wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, right.
But so, does that mean you're a failure? Or is it just like maybe a bit of a weird miscommunication? Was it snowing that day? Like, no people showing up at your event can be like your Oprah story.
Yes,
yes. So the people not showing up at your event, say just in the situation, that's not the problem. Right? The cause of our misery is the way we're interpreting that. And this is very good news. Right. This is very, very, very good news because nothing outside of us then is responsible for how we feel and what we do next.
Yes. This is exactly where we source our art from, the internal part, of who we are, what feels right to us, and all the teachers that said we weren't talented or the likes or the not likes. We need to feel confident and in our power in order to make a creative expression. We're basically, the things that we're expressing are how we feel. So it always connected for me that we have to get ourselves feeling good in order for the work to have a shot, And you don't have to be like happy all the time, but you need to feel empowered and strong enough to like take action and to be vulnerable. It's interesting because we all have, we're going in and out of feeling fabulous. And then there's days we're sad. And, I'm sure you experience this as well. Like for you, like what is the challenge for you? You coach this, but in your personal life, or in your being, what is hard for you? I'm just sort of curious. And how do you work with that?
I, like everybody else, right, have ups and downs, right? Life has different cycles. We're not meant to be in one emotional state either all the time.
Right,
so
right.
If I have a time where I maybe feel bad, I don't know, like I don't feel like myself, or I feel like a heaviness or something that I can't shake, I really don't resist it or judge it. It's like, well, this is part of the human experience, right? Like nothing in nature is it's not always summer. Like that's just not how it is. And so I allow myself to have those moments and I don't really think too deeply about them because that can also be the problem, right? It's like, I don't feel good. What's wrong? Wait, is it my health? No, it's because let me look at all the problem. It's like, what? I don't feel that good. Maybe I'm tired. Doesn't even really matter what it is, but I'm going to actually maybe cancel a couple of things and rest. And it's interesting when we don't resist something, because if you resist something, you resist something, you resist something. It's like
totally, yes.
You're like you're wrestling with something versus, okay, this is here for however long, I'm not quite sure, but I'm not going to judge the negative kind of experience I'm having or the low energy that I have to pile onto it. Like it can be there. I'm a human. I don't have to be perfect. Like I don't have to be, I'm a professional, so I'll show up for my work, but I think, okay, well, this is part of it. And that's okay. Like it's allowed. Sometimes I actually think, Nick, that people give up when they often just need a break.
Yes,
or people make
just
big
burn
decisions
out trying to keep it up this level, of expertise. And I see this in my own art, like I'll be really on and I'll be making things and then it kind of wavers and they're not so good. What's so interesting is that you can see that pattern, that it's not necessarily like a roller coaster, but there's definitely an exhale and some things need to kind of fall apart a little bit and the energy is spilled. And then there's sort of a sadness, but then there's a settling into it. And then you can start kind of like rebuilding, and you build that momentum again. And then you really on top of things and then it kind of starts to unravel. It seems to be that, it's just a sort of rolling upward sort of spiral, trending upwards always, but there's certainly downs and flats and challenges along the way.
And the problem is not that they exist, but that we judge them.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same even with critics, right? I always think, oh yeah, so there's a critic, or there are a lot of them. The problem isn't that they exist, because they will always exist. It's as old as time, right? The problem is we think that it shouldn't exist. We think that it shouldn't happen to us. We think that low periods, low energy, bad outcomes in terms of our work, or poor outcomes, or quality that we're not happy with shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Is that true? Like, where in nature is everything always perfect? Like, we are nature as humans. So like, it's such a weird double standard we hold for ourselves. Like, everyone else can make mistakes. Everyone else can have a break. Everyone else can have a disappointing month. Everyone else can ask for help, but not me.
Yes. And I'll help all those people. But when it comes to me, no.
Forget it.
No.
I got this. I'm so self-sufficient. Like, come on, let people help. They want to help, and let them be close to you. Like, extreme self-sufficiency, I think, really limits our ability to connect and to love each other. And I can tell you, when someone asks me for something, I always feel like a bit closer to them. And I just feel like, oh, great, now I can ask them for something. Yay.
I want to just real quick, what are some of the differences you experience when you're coaching men as opposed to women? I don't know. I work with more women than men. Yeah. I see that women are more willing to raise their hand for help. People like, men generally try to like not ask for directions. I mean, do you see the same thing? How do you help? How do you help men? Selfishly, maybe this is selfish, but I'm just curious, the differences, how you can speak to that.
Look, everyone's different. Men, I would say, typically are just naturally a bit more stoic. Men aren't really encouraged to show emotions and not encouraged to show sensitivity. And we see a real problem with this with like men's mental health. There are statistics around it. Like Matt Haig speaks specifically to this, how women are very likely to seek therapy, to even seek medication, to seek all sorts of mental health support. Men less so. The rate of suicide is higher for men. I mean, there are layers to this, historically speaking, culturally speaking. I find that women are quicker to certainly open up and to tell you the problem, like the honest problem. Sometimes with men, I find that there are a few layers to get through before we can get to maybe like the crux of a problem, like really what it is. And there are only really a couple of problems that exist. They just always manifest in elaborate stories, and the human beings only have two fears. Well, the first is, I'm not enough.
Yes.
Like, think about how that manifests. Yeah. And then the other is, I don't have enough. So we can see like our natural, like materialism, consumer, like wanting more to feel secure. But if every problem is boiled down to, I don't have enough and I am not enough, then I think that maybe men with a cultural expectation of being a provider, of having to be someone who has it together in their masculine, then it doesn't feel so permissible. And so I just find like with men, maybe it just takes a few more gentle questions, a bit more curiosity, but at the core, we're all the same.
I work with men, obviously. My ask is to increase sensitivity, because therein lies the ability and the art, right? To become more sensitive, so I was just curious. But I experienced that the same as you do,
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, actually, Nick, this is why people don't make me nervous. Like, truly. I mean, of course, I can be impressed by people, or if I see someone who I always like, oh, I'm so excited to meet them. But people don't generally, I mean, maybe there'll be an exception, but they generally don't make me nervous, like, because I know that we're all the same at our core. It's like, I remember even, was it Taylor Swift? I can't remember the musical artist. She posted something about her downloads, like it was like 500 million downloads of my new song, and still insecure. And still like, oh my God, is anyone going to like my new song? And I'm like, it doesn't matter how many Grammys. I just know this. Like, and it's not an opinion. Like, you understand the mind. You understand like human nature. Thinking you're not enough, thinking you don't have enough is the common condition. Like, this is our cause of suffering. It's dressed up as I'm not this, I'm not that, she's ahead, he's ahead, blah, blah, blah. But really it comes down to one of those two buckets. And so isn't that a wonderful thing? Like, that we're kind of united in this. And so we can almost like have more compassion and know that our feelings aren't weird, and know that we're not like some exception. Everyone else has got it figured out. They're all just so brave out there. And I'm just shaking over here. It's like, everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing that. I wrote this article for Oprah on shyness, and I spoke about shyness being ego, right? Like, shyness is a word that can be reserved for someone under the age of 8. Like
Yeah.
shyness is like, I don't want to say something weird. I don't want to, be the person who like maybe makes a joke and no one laughs. It's like, no one's even paying attention. It's like
Right.
the ego is in the driver's seat when we're like in these situational shyness. It's like, are you shy with your mom? Are you shy with your wife? Are you shy with your kids? It's like, so why in this situation? You're believing something. You're not enough for this situation, to some degree, right? So I just find this tremendously relief inducing, and it allows me to feel very free.
Yeah. I love it because these are feelings, thoughts, ultimately, and they're completely workable and changeable and in your capacity. Like all of this is rigged in your favor. You get to decide how you want to feel. It's kind of extraordinary.
I mean, it's like a magic trick.
Yeah.
Like I'm obsessed, I'm obsessed with it. And some days, Nick, I can get out of bed and I've got like a negative thought. Or I've checked my phone. And look, hey, I check my phone first thing. I think we all do. Come on, meditators. Don't you check your phone? You know what I mean? But I'm like, I had some unwanted news, or I saw something that I was like, something I didn't want to see. And then I'm like, I know where my day can go. I'm like, I know where or like the sun isn't out. Like,
it's one of those days. I mean, it's ridiculous, but yeah.
Yes, but then bam, I'm like conscious. I'm like, I know where I can go with this. And I go, okay, it's raining. What a great day to work. My dad always said growing up in England, like, England's a great place for working people. There aren't really many distractions apart from the pub, right? I'm like, okay, great, great day to work, Or if I saw something online, just say I saw another person get an opportunity that I wanted, I'll go, good things happen to me too. That thing just happened yesterday or last week, or I'm actually flying to New York to be on television next week. Like no one can do this for us. This is why I call it, be your own life coach. Like in that moment, your life coach can't walk around with you 24/7.
Right. You're going to have to carry this within you.
Yes. But this is all I say, Nick, is managing my mind is my number one job. Everything is easy after that. If I can just come back to that truth and go, no, look, there are lots of things for me to do, and then focus on what's true and what's in front of me. And look, if you need a break, take it. If you don't feel like doing that, there'll be days when that's not available for you energetically. Don't worry about it, right? Don't judge it. But a lot of the time we're in control, but we're not conscious. We believe our thoughts. Thoughts attract similar thoughts. And then that becomes our reality, right? That becomes our narrative of how our life is going.
Yes.
And that's just not good enough for me. Like my life is too important. Like my energy, my time, my focus, they're too precious. So if something feels bad, I'm like, what am I believing right now? And what could be truer?
Yes. I speak a lot about the way to be an artist, and it's to stay in this higher frequency, to stay in this energy that you're speaking of. And it's not like you're gaming it, but it is really a deliberate way of being. I mean, you have to choose to be a certain way to approach, especially if you want to have the extra energy and the sustenance to create something, to bring something out, and make this whole project so you're pretty buoyant and sustainable. Like it's a sustainable thing.
How do you do it, Nick? How do you stay in your high frequency?
Well, I do this. I really rely on people that inspire me, and I love helping people. And it is a little self-serving because when I see what people can do, it gives me confidence that I can do it. I know that sounds crazy, but that is truly what is so exciting to me. I mean, we're about to do, after this call today, we're going to do this artist party where it's this 4-hour event. I'm so excited. And I was going over the slide deck, and it's people from all over the world. We're going to interview, pull them on the screen, and we're going to have a few thousand people at least attending this thing. But it's people that all started out, wondering really like, well, maybe I could make this. And they are just exploded. And they're all doing it differently, right? Everyone's expression is different. But I'm reading that and it's like, I have the best job in the world. I mean, it is so, I just feel like there's so much possibility,
Yes.
That's what I get so excited about,
And that's the truth. Like if someone's done something, right, and with their life, that means it's available to a human. And
Yes.
we're one of those.
Yes.
Like we are one of those. And what I love about you, Nick, too, is like, I remember you said once that you've never really made money outside of art. Like you maybe had a waiter job once or something.
No, yeah, I never had a job. I just always avoided them.
But But Nick, like what, okay, this is how success is generous. Okay. Someone out there, or I'm sure many people out there have heard that and gone, wow, like it's legit. Like I don't have to eat rice and, live in a basement somewhere.
Well, yes. No, of course. Of course. I mean, the limiting belief that, the starving artist or it's just a starving, that scarcity belief, when you step into what really lights you up. And we haven't really even used the word purpose, but we've been talking around it all, this whole conversation. It gives you so much energy. And at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here. We're exchanging energy. And you were saying that about sales is just a conversion of energy or something? Or
yes, enthusiasm transferred.
I love that. I love that.
And to be enthusiastic, right? Like the Latin origin in theos, it means to be with God, right? It means to be in spirit, like walking with spirit. So if I can feel an enthusiasm for something, like, oh, I want to talk to that person, or I want to write that, or I want to create that piece of art. Like it's like the universe going, do it. I'm with you. Like, let's go. Like, you get those little nudges, those little hits. They're not accidents. No. And if you doubt that, then I would look at all the things in the world that are deeply uninteresting to you, that don't fill you with enthusiasm. So like maybe fixing cars or, local politics or, marine biology, like those things, they're cool, right? But they don't fill me with enthusiasm.
Yes, but that's the inquiry, right? That's the fabulous question we all get to ask ourselves. What brings us alive? And, in my world, these are creatives, but even within that, it's like, well, what is it? Color? Is it sculpture? What does the work mean to you? What do you want to say? What really matters to you? And this is that unfolding that we were speaking about earlier, that it's each day, each week, each month, you're kind of getting more clear. And when that happens, more possibilities can happen and the energy's higher and all that. And I just see that, that's really what you're doing for people is you're providing them clarity and objectivity about what's possible for them,
I feel that way about you, Nick. And truly, like as an artist, every artist needs to be in your world. Like truly, like you live it. But let me ask you this, has every piece of art that you created been a home run?
No. I've had the show where nobody came, and I'm not kidding. It was in Big Sky, Montana. It was the gallery owner, and it was me, and nobody came.
And a cheese board, and it was humiliating.
But it was a storm. So when you said that, I thought, yeah, I've done those, and I've sold out a show. And I've done both. And I'm more proud of the complete failure one because it's a better story and I'm still here.
I think that you're still breathing, right? Are you still alive and well? But think about that. So Big Sky, no show, right? Terrible. This is the assumption, right? This is terrible. A sold out show, great news, right? That's the story we attach. Nick, did your worthiness change? Like as a human being?
I learned about worthiness from those experiences, but no, of course not. Neither matter really at the end of the day.
This is a great distinction too, Nick. Like you're not your art.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not my book sale. Like these things are things that we create, but like you're not you're not the thing. Like it's not you. It comes from you and that's really cool. But it's dangerous when because imagine one day you're flying high, sold out show, another day, not a single soul in your gallery, but you're still Nick Wilton.
Yeah.
The only one that will ever be. And your worthiness doesn't change. It's like a $100 note, right? Like if you crumple it, you put it in the mud, like whatever, it's still $100, right? So look, from the mouth of Nick Wilton, like no one's showing up to a show in Big Sky. I'm happy. If just the purpose of this story, like that happened to you, like good.
Right.
Good.
Wow. Susie, I know you got to run. This has been so great. And I just know that for all you folks listening, I mean, this is what we got to work on, you guys. This is the key to keeping that energy going and just being able to be at our optimal to create and change the world, So really appreciate you, Susie. Thank you so, so much.
What a joy, Nick. Until next time, thank you so much.
We're going to provide links and stuff in the show notes. Is there anything that you want to leave us with or something that maybe people should download or get your book? Or what would be the thing that you would like folks to do to find out more about you? What's the best way to enter your world right now?
I recommend a couple of things. The Let It Be Easy podcast. I drop 5-minute episodes every single day. Studies show us that successful people just need consistent exposure to positive messages. That's why I have a daily podcast to keep you on track. And
daily? Oh my God.
Daily. Wow. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So you can do it when you're like brushing your teeth, doing your skincare. And then if you want to learn more about how the mind works and how you can really have it work like a magic trick for you, you can check out my class, becomeyourownlifecoach.com.
Okay. All those links will be in the show notes, you guys. If you go to art2life.com and click on podcasts, it's all there. Susie, enjoy your day. I feel much more fired up about this day because I got to talk to you. So thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Until next time.
All right. Bye, Susie.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Art to Life show. If you enjoyed the podcast, please help me get the word out by sharing it with your friends on Instagram at @Art2Life_world. The recording of this and all episodes, along with a place to leave comments, see additional photos, and discover a whole new approach to making art, can be found by going to Art2Lifepodcast.com. And secondly, if you could leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening on today, I would super appreciate it. It makes a big difference. And last but not least, before you go, if you'd like to be on my artist list, every Sunday morning I send out a video blog all about art making. Go to Art2Lifepodcast.com to sign up. And all these links are in the show notes, of course. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.